$487 million. That is how much money flowed into the personal bank accounts of the President of the United States and his family from a foreign government, 4 days before he was sworn into office. The money came from a man they call the spy sheik, a foreign intelligence operative, a man who controls a surveillance empire that spans 3 continents. And just months after he paid, the Trump administration handed him the keys to America's most dangerous technology. This is not a theory. This is not speculation. These are documented facts. And if you are watching this right now, you need to subscribe to this channel immediately, because the information you are about to hear will not stay online for long. This channel brings you the news that powerful people do not want you to see. The news that could be silenced at any moment. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let's get into it. My name is Daniel Brooks, and tonight, I am going to walk you through one of the most brazen acts of corruption in the modern history of the United States government. Let me start with the facts. On January 16, 2025, 4 days before Donald Trump was inaugurated for the second time as president, a secret contract was signed. The buyer was an investment vehicle called Arium Investment One. The seller was a cryptocurrency company called World Liberty Financial. The company is owned by Donald Trump and his family. The price was $500 million for 49% ownership of the company. Who signed a contract? Eric Trump, the president's son. Who was the real buyer behind Arium Investment One? Sheikh Tahnoon bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Now, you might not know that name, but you should, because Sheikh Tahnoon is not just a billionaire. He is not just a businessman. He is the national security advisor of the United Arab Emirates. He is the brother of the president of the UAE. He manages the largest sovereign wealth fund in Abu Dhabi. And inside intelligence circles, they call him the spy sheik. Why? Because he runs one of the most sophisticated surveillance and intelligence operations on the planet. He chairs a technology conglomerate called G42, a company that the United States intelligence community has explicitly warned has deep ties to Chinese firms and the Chinese government. Under the agreement that was signed, half of the $500 million was paid up front. That is $250 million. Of that initial payment, $187 million went directly to entities controlled by the Trump family. Another $31 million went to the family of Steve Witkoff. Who is Steve Witkoff? A real estate developer, a co-founder of World Liberty Financial, and, as of weeks before this deal was signed, the newly appointed special envoy to the Middle East for the incoming Trump administration. So let's be very clear about what happened here. A foreign government official, an intelligence operative, secretly funneled hundreds of millions of dollars into a company owned by the incoming president of the United States and his chief Middle East negotiator. For days before that president took office, and no one in the American public was told. Now here is where this story gets truly disturbing. When Sheikh Tahnoon invested $500 million into World Liberty Financial, the company had no products. None. Zero. It had raised $82 million by selling a cryptocurrency token called WLFI. But the investment agreement did not give Sheikh Tahnoon any rights to future WLFI token sales. That means he was locked out of what was, at that time, the company's only source of revenue. So what exactly did he buy? He bought 49% ownership of a company that had nothing. A company with no revenue stream. A company that existed only on paper. He paid $500 million for access to a president. And it worked. 2 months after the deal was signed, in March of 2025, Sheikh Tahnoon visited the White House. He met with President Trump. He met with Steve Witkoff. And he pledged $1.4 trillion in investment into the United States over the next decade. Then, in May, the payoff arrived. The Trump administration announced a landmark agreement. The United Arab Emirates would be granted access to 500,000 of the most advanced artificial intelligence chips produced by the United States every year. Chips manufactured by NVIDIA and Advanced Micro Devices. Chips powerful enough to build one of the largest AI data center clusters on the planet. And here is the critical detail. Roughly 1/5 of those chips were allocated directly to G42, the company chaired by Sheikh Tahnoon himself. This is the same technology that the Biden administration had explicitly refused to provide to the UAE. Why? Because American intelligence officials warned that these chips could be redirected to China, that they could close the military technology gap that currently keeps the United States safe. that they could be used to develop autonomous weapons systems capable of finding and destroying American naval ships. Peter Wildford, the head of policy at the AI Policy Network, put it bluntly. He said if China gets their hands on these chips at scale, they would be able to launch devastating cyber attacks against the United States. They could build weapons that could sink our Navy. They could eliminate our technological advantage. And Donald Trump handed them over anyway. When confronted about this deal, President Trump said he did not know about it. His exact words were, quote, "I don't know about it. My sons are handling that. My family is handling it. I guess they get investments from different people." The President of the United States claims he had no idea that a foreign intelligence operative paid his family $187 million 4 days before he became president. Do you believe that? The White House issued a statement saying there are no conflicts of interest. Why? Because, according to them, the president's assets are held in a blind trust managed by his children. But that is not what a blind trust is. A blind trust, by definition, is managed by an independent trustee, someone with no personal relationship to the president, someone who makes investment decisions without the president's knowledge or involvement. The entire purpose of a blind trust is to create a firewall between the president's personal financial interests and his official duties. Donald Trump's so-called blind trust is managed by his own sons. Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr., they are not independent. They have direct access to their father. They attend meetings at the White House. They communicate with the administration. And they are directly profiting from deals that involve foreign governments seeking favorable treatment from the United States. Columbia Law School professor Richard Briffault, an expert on government ethics, called this a structural conflict of interest. He said when foreign governments invest large sums of money into companies connected to the president, every government decision is called into question, and the motivations behind those decisions cannot be fully known. This is not speculation. These are the documented concerns of legal scholars who have spent their careers studying corruption and conflicts of interest at the highest levels of government. But the story does not end there, because Sheikh Tahnoon did not just buy a stake in World Liberty Financial. He bought influence over the entire Trump administration. As part of the investment agreement, 2 executives from Arium Investment were given seats on World Liberty's 5-person board of directors. Their names are Peng Shao and Martin Edelman. Both men are senior officials at G42, Sheikh Tahnoon's AI conglomerate. So now you have foreign government-linked executives sitting on the board of a company owned by the President of the United States. And it gets worse. In May, weeks before the chip deal was announced, another company controlled by Sheikh Tahnoon called MGX announced that it would invest $2 billion into the cryptocurrency exchange Binance. And they announced they would complete that investment using $1, the stablecoin created by World Liberty Financial. This was a massive boost for World Liberty. It helped establish $1 as one of the fastest-growing stablecoins in the world. Today, $1 has over $5 billion in circulation. But here is what was not disclosed. MGX and World Liberty Financial share leadership. The same G42 executives sit on the boards of both companies. So when MGX invested $2 billion into Binance using $1, the Trump family and the Witkoff family received a cut of that transaction. Hundreds of millions of dollars in indirect payments. Senator Elizabeth Warren, the top Democrat on the Senate Banking Committee, said it plainly. This is corruption, plain and simple. Senators Jeff Merkley and Elizabeth Warren sent a formal letter to the Office of Government Ethics demanding an urgent inquiry. They warned that this arrangement creates a backdoor for foreign kickbacks and bribes. They said it makes the federal government highly vulnerable to foreign influence. And they said it may violate the United States Constitution. The Constitution has a clause, the Emoluments Clause, that prohibits the president from receiving payments or benefits from foreign governments. The Founding Fathers wrote that clause specifically to prevent exactly this kind of corruption. And yet, it is happening, right now, in plain sight. This is not an isolated incident. This is part of a pattern. In 2023, the cryptocurrency exchange Crypto.com was under investigation by the Biden administration's Securities and Exchange Commission. Enforcement action was likely. The company was in serious legal trouble. Then Donald Trump won the 2024 election. Suddenly, the investigation was dropped. Crypto.com ramped up spending on a lobbyist close to Trump. They donated $11 million to political committees tied to the Republican Party. And by August, Crypto.com announced it was investing roughly $1 billion into a partnership with Trump Media and Technology Group, the company that owns Truth Social. Legal and ethics experts called it a case study in conflicts of interest. Another example. In February 2025, the Trump administration disbanded the Justice Department's National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team. This was the agency responsible for investigating cryptocurrency crimes. It was shut down entirely. Why? Because cryptocurrency companies had poured millions of dollars into Trump's campaign. Because Trump had promised to make the United States the crypto capital of the world. And because the Trump family now owns 4 separate cryptocurrency ventures, all of which benefit directly from deregulation. There is American Bitcoin, a mining company founded by Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. There is Trump Media and Technology Group, which diversified into cryptocurrency and announced plans to raise $2.5 billion to create a Bitcoin stockpile. There is the Trump meme coin, which generated between $86 and $100 million in trading fees in just 2 weeks. And there is World Liberty Financial, the company at the center of the Spy Chic scandal. According to estimates from Axios and The Economist, cryptocurrency now accounts for between 24 and 89% of Donald Trump's total net worth. His personal wealth is directly tied to the success of an industry he is supposed to regulate. Let me be very clear about what this means. A foreign government official, a man who runs a surveillance empire with ties to China, paid the President of the United States $187 million 4 days before he took office. Months later, that same foreign official was granted access to America's most advanced military technology that could be used against the United States in a future conflict. And the American people were never told. This is not politics. This is not partisan spin. These are facts, documented facts, facts that most major news networks are barely covering. That is why this channel exists, to bring you the truth, the whole truth, the truth that powerful people do not want you to know. If you found this information valuable, subscribe to Daniel Brooks Reports, share this video, and stay informed, because the next scandal is coming, and I will be here to report it. This is Daniel Brooks.